My fiancé secretly contacted my estranged family who cut me off years ago over a false accusation. Now she's acting like I should just get over it. Should I call off the wedding? I, 30, male, never thought I'd be sitting here writing this. My wedding is supposed to be in 3 weeks, but I'm seriously considering calling the whole thing off. Not because I don't love my fiancée Emily, but because of what she did behind my back. To understand why this hurts so much, I need to tell you about my family and what happened 8 years ago. I grew up in what seemed like a normal, loving family. I was the oldest of 3 kids, with a younger brother and sister. My parents were strict but caring, and we were close to our extended relatives. I had big dreams of becoming a doctor, and I was on track to make it happen. I'd gotten into a competitive pre-med program with a partial scholarship and was working 2 jobs to cover the rest. Everything changed when I was 23, during my junior year of college. It was winter break, and our whole extended family had gathered at my parents' house. My niece Anna, who was 16 at the time, was there with my sister and her husband. Anna and I had always been close. She looked up to me, and I tried to be a good role model for her. That weekend, Anna seemed off. She was quiet, withdrawn, not her usual self. I pulled her aside on Saturday to ask if everything was okay. She said she was fine, just tired from school. I told her I was there if she ever needed to talk. I gave her a hug, and that was that, or so I thought. On Sunday morning, everything exploded. I woke up to my mother screaming at me, my father standing behind her with a look of pure disgust on his face. I had no idea what was happening. My mother was sobbing, asking me how I could do such a terrible thing, calling me a monster. My father told me to pack my things and get out of their house immediately. I was completely lost. I kept asking what was going on, what I had done wrong. That's when my sister came into the room, her face red with rage. She told me that Anna had confided in her about what I had supposedly done. According to Anna, I had crossed serious boundaries with her the night before when everyone else was asleep. She claimed I had cornered her in the hallway, acted inappropriately, and said awful things. I was floored. I couldn't even process what I was hearing. It was completely untrue. Absolutely insane. I tried to defend myself, to explain that nothing like that had ever happened, but no one would listen. My sister was screaming at me. My mother was crying. My father was telling me I had 30 minutes to get out before he called the police. I begged them to believe me. I explained that I had barely even seen Anna that night, that I'd gone to bed early because I had to drive back to school the next day, but it didn't matter. Anna was crying, saying she was scared of me, and that was all the proof they needed. My brother stood there silently, not defending me, just watching as my world crumbled. I packed whatever I could grab and left. As I was walking out, I heard my father on the phone calling other family members. Within hours, my entire extended family knew about the accusation. The next few weeks were a nightmare. I returned to school, but the damage was done. My sister had posted vague things on Facebook, not naming me directly, but making it clear enough that everyone who knew our family could figure it out. Friends started avoiding me. My phone was flooded with hateful messages from relatives, cousins I'd grown up with, aunts and uncles who'd known me my whole life. The worst part was that no one, not a single person in my family, gave me the benefit of the doubt. No one asked for my side of the story. They just believed Anna without question. And I became a pariah overnight. I tried to focus on school, but it was impossible. I was depressed, anxious, couldn't eat or sleep. My grades started slipping. I lost my scholarship at the end of that semester because my GPA had dropped too low. Without the scholarship, I couldn't afford to continue. I had to drop out of my pre-med program just 1 year away from graduating. I moved to another city, got a job at a warehouse, and tried to rebuild my life from scratch. I was angry, bitter, and broken. I'd lost my family, my future, everything I had worked for, all because of a lie. For years, I struggled. I worked dead-end jobs, barely making enough to survive. I was depressed and isolated, not trusting anyone enough to let them get close. It took me 3 years before I finally started pulling myself together. I enrolled in community college, taking classes at night while working during the day. I discovered I had a talent for computer programming, something I had never considered before. I threw myself into it, and slowly I started to see a path forward. By the time I was 27, I had my associate degree and had landed an entry-level position at a tech company. I worked hard, proved myself, and started climbing the ladder. I also began therapy, which helped me deal with the trauma of what my family had done to me. That's when I met Emily. She was a project manager at my company, smart, beautiful, and kind. We hit it off immediately. For the first time in years, I felt like I could trust someone. We dated for 2 years, and 6 months ago I proposed. She said yes, and I thought I'd finally found my happy ending. Emily knew about my family situation. I told her early in our relationship that I was estranged from them, that there had been false accusations made against me, and that they disowned me without hearing my side. She was supportive and understanding, never pushing me to reconcile. About 4 months ago, something changed. Emily started bringing up my family more often, suggesting that maybe enough time had passed, that maybe we should try to reach out before the wedding. I always shut it down. I told her that what they did was unforgivable, that they destroyed my life without giving me a chance to defend myself. She seemed to accept it, but I noticed she'd get this look on her face, like she disagreed but didn't want to argue. I should have paid more attention to that look. 3 weeks ago, I got a Facebook message from my mother. I almost deleted it without reading it, but curiosity got the better of me. The message was long, rambling, full of apologies. She said that Anna had recently come clean, admitting that she'd made the whole thing up. Apparently, she had been going through something at the time, was seeing a therapist now, and had finally confessed the truth. My mother wrote that the whole family was devastated when they realized what they'd done to me. She said they tried to find me, to reach out and apologize, but I'd blocked them all years ago. She begged me to call her, to give them a chance to make things right. I stared at that message for hours. Part of me felt vindicated, finally having proof that I'd been telling the truth all along. But mostly, I just felt rage. 8 years. They had stolen 8 years of my life, my education, my future, all without giving me a single chance to defend myself. And now, they wanted forgiveness. I showed the message to Emily that evening. I expected her to be as angry as I was, to support my decision to ignore it. Instead, she got this hopeful look on her face. "This is amazing," she said. "They know the truth now. You can have your family back." I looked at her like she was crazy. "I don't want them back, Emily. They threw me away like garbage. Why would I want anything to do with them now?" She tried to argue with me, saying they had been protecting Anna, that they thought they were doing the right thing. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told her that if they really loved me, they would have at least listened to my side of the story. They didn't even give me that. We had our first real fight that night. Emily kept insisting that family was important, that I needed to forgive them, that holding on to anger would only hurt me. I told her she didn't understand, that she couldn't possibly know what it felt like to be abandoned by everyone you've ever loved. Eventually, she dropped it. Or so I thought. I deleted my mother's message and blocked her again. I thought that was the end of it. 2 days ago, I came home early from work. Emily's car was in the driveway, which was unusual for that time of day. When I walked in, I heard her voice coming from our home office. I was about to call out to her when I caught what she was saying. "Yes, Mrs. Johnson. I understand this is difficult for you too. No, he hasn't responded to your message. I know. Yes. I think if you came to the wedding, it might be the push he needs to start healing." I froze. Mrs. Johnson, my mother's name. Emily was on the phone with my mother. I stood there in the hallway listening as my fiancé made plans with the very people who had destroyed my life. She was inviting them to our wedding. She was telling them about our relationship, where we lived, giving them information I had deliberately kept from them. When she finally hung up, I walked into the office. She jumped, startled, and I could see the guilt all over her face. "How long?" I asked, my voice surprisingly calm. "What do you mean?" She tried to play dumb, but her face was bright red. "How long have you been talking to my family behind my back?" She sighed, looking down at her hands. "Since your mother reached out, I contacted her back, told her I was your fiancé. We've been talking for a few weeks now. It felt like I'd been punched in the gut." "A few weeks? You've been hiding this from me for weeks?" "I wasn't lying," she protested. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd react like this. I was trying to help, to rebuild the bridges between you and your family." "Help?" I was struggling to keep my voice down. "You think going behind my back, betraying my trust, inviting the people who ruined my life to our wedding is helping?" She stood up, reaching for me, but I stepped back. "They're your parents, your family. They made a mistake, yes, but they're sorry." Anna told the truth. "You can have your family back. Don't you see how amazing that is?" "No," I said firmly. "I don't want them back. I've built a life without them. I don't need them anymore." "But our children," she said softly. "Don't you want our future kids to know their grandparents, their aunts, uncles, cousins?" That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about the wedding. This was about Emily's vision of our future, one that included my family, whether I wanted it or not. "You had no right," I said, my voice shaking. "You had no right to contact them without my permission, to tell them about our life, to invite them to our wedding. This was my decision to make, not yours. I'm your fiancé," she argued. "We're supposed to be partners. This affects both of us. Partners don't go behind each other's backs. Partners don't betray each other's trust." The fight escalated from there. She accused me of being stubborn and holding grudges. I accused her of being manipulative and controlling. We both said things we probably shouldn't have, but the damage was done. That night, I ended up sleeping at my friend Mark's place. The next morning, I called my therapist and got an emergency appointment. We talked through everything, and she helped me see things more clearly. Emily had violated my trust in a fundamental way. She had made decisions about my life, my relationships, without my consent. She had prioritized what she thought was best over what I had explicitly told her I wanted, and she had been hiding it from me for weeks. More importantly, she didn't seem to understand why what she did was wrong. In her mind, she was helping, trying to give me back something she thought I wanted. But she never asked. She never respected my autonomy, my right to make my own decisions about my own family. That afternoon, I went home and found Emily waiting for me. She apologized for going behind my back. but then immediately started trying to justify it again. She said she thought I was being irrational, that I was letting my hurt and anger make decisions for me. That's exactly it, I told her. You thought you knew better than me what I should do with my own life. You thought your judgment was more important than my feelings. I'm sorry, she kept saying, but I could tell she still didn't really get it. I asked her if she had uninvited my family from the wedding. She hesitated, and I knew the answer before she even spoke. I told them about the situation, she said carefully, but I also told them where and when the wedding is, in case you change your mind. That was it. That was the moment I knew I couldn't marry her. Emily, I said as calmly as I could, I need you to understand something. What you did wasn't just a mistake. You betrayed my trust. You went behind my back and contacted people who hurt me deeply. People I explicitly told you I didn't want in my life. And even now, even after seeing how upset I am, you're still defending what you did. I'm not defending it, she protested. Yes, you are. Every time you say, but they're your family, or, but it's for the best, or, but our future children, you're defending it. You're saying that your vision of what my life should look like is more important than my actual feelings and choices. She started crying, telling me she loved me, that she just wanted me to be happy, that she thought reconnecting with my family would help me heal. But that's not your decision to make, I said, and I felt surprisingly calm. My healing, my family relationships, my choices about who I allow in my life, those are mine to make, not yours. I told her I needed time to think. She begged me not to call off the wedding. She promised she'd never do anything like this again. But I couldn't trust that promise. If she could justify this, what else might she justify in the future? I've spent the last 2 days really thinking about what I want. I've been replaying everything in my head, looking for signs I missed, moments where she showed this controlling side. And now that I'm looking, I can see them. Little things I brushed off at the time. How she'd rearrange my apartment when she came over, saying she was just trying to help me get organized. Or how she'd order for me at restaurants sometimes, insisting she knew what I'd like. Or how she'd make plans with our friends without asking me first, then get upset when I wasn't immediately on board. That ends now. I'm going back to being the person I was before I met her. Independent, self-reliant, in control of my own life and my own decisions. It's going to be hard letting go of the future I thought we'd have together, but it's harder to imagine a future where I'm constantly second-guessing whether my partner is going to respect my choices, or override them because she thinks she knows better. This morning, I called off the wedding. I went back to the apartment when I knew Emily would be at work. I packed up the rest of my essentials and left the engagement ring on the kitchen counter with a note. The note was simple. I can't marry someone I don't trust. I'm done. Please don't contact me. When she came home and found the ring, she called me immediately. I didn't answer, but she left a voicemail that was over 5 minutes long. She was crying, begging, saying I was throwing away everything we'd built together over a mistake. She kept saying she was sorry, that she'd never do anything like it again, that we could go to couples counseling, that we could work through this. But here's the thing. It wasn't just a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk on the way home. A mistake is double booking plans with friends. What Emily did was a calculated decision she made over and over again for weeks. Every time she picked up the phone to call my mother. Every time she texted with my sister. Every time she looked me in the eye and hid the truth. Those weren't mistakes. Those were choices. She called again later that night, and this time I picked up. Not because I wanted to reconcile, but because I needed her to understand why this was over. I needed to say my piece. Emily, I said when I answered, I need you to stop calling me. Please, she sobbed. Please just listen to me. I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you so much. We can fix this. No, I said firmly. We can't. And I need you to understand why I'm listening, Emily said. I could hear her trying to calm her breathing. What you did wasn't just about my family, I explained. It was about you deciding that you knew better than me what I needed. You took away my agency, my choice, my right to decide who gets to be in my life. You violated my trust in the deepest way possible, and you did it for weeks while looking me in the eye and hiding it. I wasn't lying, she protested. I just didn't tell you. That's called lying by omission, Emily, I cut her off. And the fact that you still can't see that you still can't admit that what you did was fundamentally wrong, that's exactly why this is over. I do see it, she insisted. I do know it was wrong. I'm so sorry. You're sorry you got caught, I said. You're sorry I'm upset, but you're not sorry for what you did. If you were really sorry, you would have told my family you made a mistake and uninvited them from the wedding, but you didn't. You left the door open for them, even after you saw how upset I was. There was silence on the other end of the line. I could hear her crying softly. I thought, she started, then stopped. I thought that if they just showed up, if you saw them, you'd realize that you wanted them in your life. I thought you were just scared and that you needed someone to make the first move for you. That's exactly the problem, I said, feeling exhausted. You thought. You decided. You made choices about my life without me. You don't get to do that, Emily. No one gets to do that. I was trying to help, she whispered. I know, I said, and I meant it. I know you thought you were helping. But helping means supporting someone's decisions even when you don't agree with them. It means respecting their boundaries, not bulldozing over them because you think you know better. What if, her voice was small, what if I talk to your family right now? What if I tell them they can't come, that I made a mistake? It's too late for that, I told her. The damage is done. I can't trust you anymore, and I can't marry someone I don't trust. Please don't do this, she begged. Please don't throw away 3 years over this. I love you. I'll do anything to fix this. There's nothing to fix, I said gently. This isn't something that can be fixed. You showed me who you are, Emily. You showed me that, when it comes down to it, you'll do what you think is right, regardless of what I want. I can't build a life with someone like that. She was sobbing now. Part of me felt bad for her, but a bigger part of me just felt empty. The woman I loved wouldn't have done this to me. The woman I loved would have respected my boundaries, supported my decisions, been on my side against my family, not conspiring with them behind my back. I never wanted to hurt you, she managed to say through her tears. I know, I said. But you did. And now we both have to live with that. So that's it? She asked. You're just done? No second chances? No working through it? Nothing? That's it, I confirmed. I'm done. The wedding is off. We're over. I need you to accept that and move on. I can't, she said. I can't just move on from you. You're going to have to, I told her, because I'm moving on from you. I hung up before she could respond. I knew if I stayed on the phone any longer, she'd keep trying to change my mind, keep trying to convince me that we could fix this. But there was no fixing this. Some things, once broken, stay broken. Emily is devastated, insisting that I'm overreacting, that we can work through this. But I don't think we can. Trust is the foundation of a relationship. And she shattered that foundation. I also had to deal with the fallout of my family, finding out about the wedding being called off. My mother called me. Apparently, Emily had given her my new number. I let it go to voicemail. She left a long message crying, apologizing, begging me to reconsider both the wedding and my estrangement from them. Then my sister called, and my brother, and several cousins. They'd all gotten my number from Emily. Each message was some variation of, "We're so sorry. We want to make it right. Please give us another chance." My sister's voicemail was particularly hard to hear. She was crying, saying how much she missed me, how she should have known better than to believe Anna without question. She admitted that Anna had always had issues with telling the truth, little lies throughout her childhood that they'd brushed off as normal kid stuff. She said she should have seen the pattern, should have questioned Anna's story more. "I'm so sorry," she sobbed into the phone. "I'm so sorry. I was scared and I wanted to protect my daughter, but I should have protected you too. You're my brother. I should have at least talked to you. I should have heard your side. I failed you, and I've regretted it every single day for 8 years." It was hard to listen to. Part of me wanted to believe her, to accept her apology and rebuild some kind of relationship. But the logical part of my brain kept reminding me of all the years she'd had to reach out, all the opportunities she'd had to question Anna's story, all the times she could have tried to find me, and didn't. 8 years is a long time, long enough to have doubts, long enough to wonder if maybe they'd been wrong, long enough to try to find me and check in. They didn't do any of that. They were content to let me disappear from their lives, to believe the worst of me, to never question whether Anna might be lying. The worst call came from my mother 2 days after I called off the wedding. Emily must have told her what happened because she was hysterical. "You can't call off your wedding because of us," she wailed. "Emily is a good woman. She loves you. She was just trying to help bring our family back together. You can't punish her for that." I almost laughed at the irony. My mother, who had thrown me out without a single conversation, was now lecturing me about punishing someone unfairly. "This has nothing to do with you," I said coldly. "Emily betrayed my trust. She went behind my back and made decisions about my life without my consent. That's why the wedding is off." "But she was doing it for you," my mother insisted. "She wanted you to have your family back. How can you be angry at her for that?" "Because I didn't want my family back," I said, my voice rising despite my efforts to stay calm. I made that very clear to her. She decided her vision of what my life should look like was more important than what I actually wanted. Just like you all decided Anna's accusations were more important than hearing my side of the story. "That's not fair," my mother protested. "We thought we were protecting Anna," she said weakly. "By destroying me," I finished. "You protected her by throwing me out without a conversation, without evidence, without even asking if just maybe, a teenager might not be telling the truth. You took away my education, my future, my family, everything. Because it was easier to believe the worst of me than to consider that you might be wrong. We made a mistake," she said, her voice breaking. "We know that now. Anna was going through something. She was troubled. She needed help. We didn't see it. We should have gotten her therapy back then. We should have questioned her story, but we didn't. And we're so sorry. Sorry doesn't give me back 8 years of my life, I said. Sorry doesn't fix what you broke. Sorry doesn't make me trust you again. What can we do? She asked desperately. Please tell us what we can do to make this right. Nothing, I said simply. There's nothing you can do. The time for making this right was 8 years ago when you could have chosen to believe in me, to give me the benefit of the doubt, to at least hear my side of the story. You didn't do that. You made your choice, and now I'm making mine. Please, she begged. Please don't shut us out forever. We're your family. You stopped being my family the day you threw me out, I told her. You chose to believe I was a terrible person without any proof. You chose to abandon me. Those were your choices, and now you have to live with them. But Anna told the truth now, she argued. She admitted she lied. Doesn't that mean anything to you? It means I was right all along, I said. It means I told the truth and you didn't believe me. It means you chose wrong. And there's no taking that back. Anna coming clean doesn't undo 8 years of damage. It doesn't erase the trauma of being abandoned by everyone I loved. It doesn't give me back my scholarship, or my medical career, or the life I was supposed to have. We want to make amends, my mother said. We want to help you, to be part of your life again. I don't need your help, I said. I rebuilt my life without you. I have a career, I have friends, I have a life that I built from nothing after you destroyed everything I had. I don't need you to swoop in now and pretend like you care. We do care, she insisted. We love you. We always loved you. If you loved me, you would have believed me, I said, feeling the old anger rising again. If you loved me, you would have at least given me a chance to defend myself. If you loved me, you would have wondered if maybe, just maybe, I was telling the truth. But you didn't. You didn't love me enough to question Anna's story. You didn't love me enough to fight for me. You loved your idea of protecting Anna more than you loved me, your own son. That's not true, she sobbed. Yes, it is, I said firmly. And the fact that you still can't see that you still can't understand what you did wrong, is exactly why I don't want you in my life. I hung up on her, my hands shaking with anger. I'd held on to that for 8 years. The rage, the hurt, the betrayal. Saying it out loud to her felt both cathartic and exhausting. Emily is still texting me, still trying to fix things. She says she understands now why what she did was wrong, that she'll never do anything like that again, that she'll cut off contact with my family completely. But it's too late. I can't unhear those phone calls. I can't unknow that she had been lying to me for weeks. I can't trust her again. And without trust, what do we have? I'm moving out of our apartment next week. I've already found a new place. It's smaller, cheaper, but it's mine and mine alone. My friend Mark is helping me move, and honestly, I'm looking forward to the fresh start. Emily came by while I was packing. I told her not to, but she showed up anyway. That's very on brand for her, ignoring what I asked because she thought she knew better. Please, she said when I opened the door. Please, can we just talk about this? There's nothing to talk about, I said, blocking the doorway. I'm packing my things and leaving. That's it. I love you, she said, tears streaming down her face. I love you so much. I know I messed up, but we can fix this. We can go to therapy, work through it. I'll do whatever it takes. Emily, I need you to hear me, I said, trying to stay calm. This isn't about doing whatever it takes. This is about you fundamentally not understanding why what you did was wrong. You keep saying you'll change, but you don't even understand what needs to change. I do understand, she insisted. I know I shouldn't have contacted your family without telling you. I know that now. It's not just about my family, I tried to explain. It's about you thinking you have the right to make decisions about my life. It's about you prioritizing what you think is best over what I explicitly told you I want. It's about you not respecting my autonomy, my boundaries, my right to choose for myself. I was just trying to help, she said for what felt like the 100th time. I know, I said, exhausted. But I didn't ask for your help. I didn't want your help. I told you exactly what I wanted and you decided you knew better. That's not love, Emily. That's control. She flinched like I had slapped her. I'm not trying to control you. Maybe not consciously, I admitted, but that's what it is. When you ignore what I tell you I want and do what you think is best instead, that's control. When you go behind my back to make decisions about my relationships, that's control. When you can't accept no as an answer, that's control. I just wanted you to be happy, she whispered. But you wanted me to be happy your way, I said. You wanted me to have the family and the wedding and the life that you envisioned? You didn't care that I was happy with my life the way it was. You couldn't accept that I'd built something good without the family that destroyed me. You had to fix it. Had to make it fit your version of what a happy life should look like. She was sobbing now, mascara running down her face. A few months ago, I would have pulled her into my arms, would have comforted her, but I felt nothing. Just a distant kind of sadness for what we'd lost. Or more accurately, for what I thought we had, but never really did. I'm sorry, she kept saying. I know you are, I said gently. I know you didn't mean to hurt me. But that doesn't change what happened. It doesn't rebuild the trust you destroyed. It doesn't make me able to marry you. What if, she started, then stopped. What if we just postpone the wedding? What if we give ourselves time to work through this? No, I said firmly. The wedding is off. We're over. I need you to accept that I can't, she said, shaking her head. I can't just give up on us. I'm not asking you to give up on us, I said. I'm telling you that it's over. That's not a negotiation. That's not something we need to discuss. It's a decision I've made, and you need to respect it. Even then, even in that moment, I could see her struggling with it. She didn't want to accept my decision. She wanted to argue, to convince me I was wrong, to make me change my mind. And that's exactly why I knew I was making the right choice. You need to leave, I told her. I need to finish packing, and you being here isn't helping. Please, she started. Emily, I interrupted. You need to leave. Now. She stood there for another moment, looking at me like she was seeing a stranger. Maybe she was. Maybe she'd never really seen me at all. Just her version of who she wanted me to be. Finally, she turned and walked away. I closed the door and leaned against it, feeling emotionally drained, but also relieved. It was over. Really, truly over. The next few days were a blur of packing, moving, and settling into my new place. Mark was incredible through all of it, helping me move furniture, making sure I ate, just being there. He didn't try to give me advice or tell me I'd done the right thing. He just supported me. And that's exactly what I needed. As for my family, I've made my decision there too. I sent one email to my mother, making it clear that I don't want any contact from any of them. I explained that their apologies don't change what they did. They don't give me back the 8 years they stole from me. They don't undo the trauma they caused. I told them that Anna's confession doesn't make everything okay. It doesn't change the fact that they immediately believed the worst of me, that they threw me out without a conversation, that they turned the whole family against me without giving me a chance to defend myself. I also told them their actions showed me who they really are, people who would abandon their own child based on an accusation, without evidence, without even asking for my side of the story. That's not the kind of people I want in my life, family or not. Emily found out about the email and got angry with me, saying I was burning bridges that could be rebuilt, but that's where she's wrong. Those bridges were burned 8 years ago when my family threw me out. I'm not burning anything. I'm just refusing to pretend the ashes are still a bridge. I'm doing okay, considering. I'm hurt. I'm angry. I'm grieving the future I thought I was going to have. But I'm also relieved. Relieved that I found out who Emily really is before we got married, before we had kids, before I was legally tied to someone who doesn't respect my autonomy. I know some people will think I'm being too harsh, too unforgiving. They'll say that Emily just made a mistake, or that my family deserves a second chance. But here's the thing. Forgiveness doesn't mean putting yourself back in a position to be hurt again. Forgiveness doesn't mean allowing people who broke your trust to walk back into your life. I can forgive my family for what they did, and I'm working on that in therapy. But forgiveness doesn't equal reconciliation. They shattered something 8 years ago that can't be repaired, no matter how sorry they are now. And Emily shattered something too, something I believed was unbreakable. So yes, the wedding is off. Yes, I'm starting over again. But I'm starting over on my own terms, with my own boundaries intact, with my autonomy respected. And maybe that's not the happy ending I once wanted, but it's the ending I need. I deserve to be with someone who respects me, who trusts me to make my own decisions, who doesn't think they know better than I do about my own life and my own pain. Until I find that person, I'm better off alone. People keep asking me if there's any chance I'll change my mind, any possibility of reconciling with either Emily or my family. The answer is no. Some things, once broken, can't be fixed. Some betrayals run too deep to forgive. And some decisions, once made, need to be final. I'm moving forward with my life without Emily and without my family. It's not the life I once planned, but it's the life I choose. One where my boundaries are respected, my autonomy is honored, and my past isn't minimized or dismissed. The wedding is off, the relationship is over, the chapter is closed, and I'm finally starting to feel like I can breathe again. YouTube just launched this new hype feature. So if you've been hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube, this video deserves to blow up.